Tonight, you shouldn't risk sleeping alone, because I have 3 authentic ghost stories from truck drivers. Without further ado, they are as follows. Carlos's story. The father of a buddy experienced this situation. He was driving around 1 in the morning in an area that is well known for being particularly dangerous at night, and the only people who dare to travel through them at that time are truck drivers. Many people have witnessed a girl standing by the side of the road menacingly, soliciting rides. She is allegedly making the hitch sign with her thumb and has a pallid face. Additionally, they claim that if you notice her and don't stop, she will board the vehicle anyway. That was exactly what happened to my friend's dad. He looked at her and ignored her, and even he thought that it was his imagination caused by his sleepiness. But when he saw her ghost, he accelerated the truck even more because he heard that many people had been killed there. Some survivors say they got out of control because this woman had climbed onto their trucks, but my friend's father passed the curves without any problem. But after about 5 or 10 minutes, he began to smell cigarettes. Out of the corner of his eye, he noticed that there was someone sitting right next to him. He again believed that it was only his imagination caused by his sleepiness, but out of curiosity, he turned, and in the passenger seat was the woman, sitting with a pale face, wearing jeans and a long-sleeve shirt. Despite everything, he kept driving while maintaining a straight-ahead gaze. When he wasn't looking at her, the situation grew progressively more terrifying, so she placed her hand on his leg and gently ran her finger along it. She then removed her hand and attempted to speak to him, but he continued to stare straight ahead, both hands firmly planted on the steering wheel, as if he were trying to find a place where he could stop or where there would be more people. Those who have traveled that path understand how isolating it can be. She was so persistent in trying to grab his attention that when finally he turned to look at her once more, she lifted her hand and made the standard smoking gesture with her 2 fingers. He appeared to have been asking her for a smoke, but she insisted on stroking his legs, and he kept his eyes on the road. He gave her a short glance, and she mimicked him by touching her dry lips with her pale fingertips. He tried to tell her no several times, but she persisted. Suddenly, he looked down to see her hand on his calf. When she extended her hand, the sleeve of a blouse rose slightly, revealing a pair of cadaveric bones. He was being touched by a skeleton rather than a regular hand. The situation persisted in this way for perhaps 25 minutes when he reached a tiny village where there was still a small light by the road, at which point the spirit vanished. The people who lived nearby were asked if they knew anything about it, and the answer left them feeling both bewildered and afraid at the same time. There are so many stories that are recounted about that route, about so many truckers who encounter that apparition. One of the locals remarked that back in the 1980s, before there were truck stations like there are now, truck drivers had to take a bath and wash their clothing in a river. A bunch of truckers once went to the river where they discovered a really attractive young woman washing her clothes. These wretches then slaughtered the woman. Since then, her spirit appears to the truckers who pass by. She has been seen by passing truckers, and it's said that her soul is still seeking retribution. As a result, numerous truckers have perished as a result of her attacks. Before we move on to the next story, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you'd like to hear more stories like this one. Thank you. Caesar's story. This story was told to me by my brother, who we'll call Alex. He spent much of his life working as a truck driver, and it's not a surprise that supernatural experiences have been throughout his career. My brother Alex says that on top of one of his trips, something happened to him when he arrived at the company where he had to deliver the cargo. He decided it was a good idea to get out of his unit and relax while it was unloaded. It's worth mentioning that in the transport logistics sector, workers have to maintain constant communication with their employers, either to report any eventuality or to report along the way, because as we know, insecurity and accidents do occur. In addition, sometimes clients require to know the status of their shipments. For these reasons, today, one of the ways to report their activity is to send photos of the cargo once they've arrived at their destination as evidence. That day, a worker from that warehouse told my brother, "He already took the picture, right?" And my brother replied, "What picture are you referring to?" The man then replied, "The picture that your partner is taking, the one behind the truck." My brother felt confused because at that time he was alone. So he asked, "Which partner are you referring to?" "Under the truck, you can see someone's feet. I assume it's your partner who's taking the pictures of the truck?" My brother looked under the truck and indeed he could see the feet of someone who seemed to be standing on the other side. However, he commented that he did not come with anyone else since he was traveling alone. To clear up any doubts, my brother and some workers from the company decided to go and see what was behind the truck, but when they went around, they found nothing. It's worth mentioning that due to the time it took them to surround the truck and open the space that exists in the parking lots, it was not possible that the person could have fled or hidden somewhere. So all the workers were speechless at the event, and one of them told him, "Look inside the truck," to which my brother replied, "No way, this is the end of the matter." They never knew what happened or what they saw that night. Everything remained just that, a mystery. Manuel's story. This was experienced by my uncle. For many years he was a trucker and usually had to drive at night. He claims that in one of those frequent early morning drives, he had to drive through a town that was a fairly pronounced curve. As he entered the town, he spotted a young girl in the distance who was dressed in a high school uniform. Intrigued, he slowed down out of curiosity, but he never considered stopping because she could be a woman from the nightlife. And he didn't want to stop because it could be a scheme by some criminals who were probably hiding in the bushes to rob him. My uncle ignored the young woman's signals to halt. The truck passed by and through the rearview mirror, he managed to see the young woman with her bloody face, without eyes. Terrified, he accelerated until he lost the sight of her. After some time had passed, he told a coworker about the incident and revealed that a girl had been slain there many years earlier and that her body had been flung around the curve. In his account, it's also mentioned that there have been some occasions when a few truckers have picked her up only to crash, killing some of them and injuring others. My uncle was not terrified. Rather, he was deeply sorry for the spirit's plight. He claims that for a lengthy period of time, as he traveled through that town, he virtually always saw her again, flashing the stop signal at dawn. She didn't touch him at all. All she did was wait for someone to pick her up. My uncle occasionally prayed for her to enter into everlasting peace, but he saw her until he quit his job. Please contact me at the email in my description below if you have any spooky tales or paranormal experiences you would like to share. I appreciate your help.